Welcome in along with Mike Renner. I'm Steve Palazzolo, and this is your Los Angeles Rams NFL Draft Recap brought to you by PFF Edge and Elite. All right, Mike, Rams traded out of the first round. They get Taylor Rapp in the second round with their first pick. I kind of like where they went with a few of their picks, starting with Rapp at 61 overall.
Yeah, I think Rapp could immediately be a linebacker in that scheme, if we're being honest. At least a nickel, dime type of linebacker for them. I mean, he's a fantastic box player. We said he is not your deep safety. He is not the guy you want on the back end trying to make plays, but they already have Eric Weddle. They already have John Johnson at safety. He probably fills the box role, can cover the slot, that sort of thing in their defense. And then where they got him, we thought was excellent value.
Yeah, he's just a sure tackler. We kept using the generic term football player. He's just always in the right position. Yeah. He's agile, only missed 2 tackles all of last year. So I think you could just do some things with him on the back end from a coverage standpoint. I want to circle back to running back Darrel Henderson in a second and stick with the secondary. David Long, one of our favorite players in the draft. They get him at number 79 overall, the cornerback from Michigan. We had him as a fringe first-round type of prospect.
Anytime, my favorite picks in this draft are always going to be when you have established starters at certain positions, but you draft their backup because you know it is that valuable of a position. That is cornerback in the NFL today, and that is David Long. They already have a Keith Talib, already have Marcus Peters, already even have a slot corner in Kel Roby-Coleman, but they go to David Long, one of the best man coverage corners in this entire draft class. Yes, he's a little undersized from a height, length standpoint, but from a physicality standpoint and physically what he can do with his feet in terms of changing directions, mirroring receivers down the field, he's as good as it gets in this draft class. To get him in the third round, for my money, one of the steals of the draft. And then again, the fact that they drafted a position they don't necessarily need right now, but Aqib Talib isn't going to last forever. Marcus Peters, we don't even know after what we saw from him a season ago if he's still going to be able to play at that high level, because that was not the Marcus Peters we had seen early on in his career. So love the pick of David.
One of my favorite draft rules, don't let the current players on the roster keep you from drafting good players. So
exactly.
They adhered to it. Now, we don't love running backs in the third round. However, with Darrel Henderson from Memphis, the 70th overall pick, the 6th pick of the third round, he's at least a very good scheme fit, outside zone runner with some big play threat.
Very much a one-cut runner. He gets upfield, even though he's an undersized, slider type of back, more of a speed back if you had to quantify him or qualify him as something. But sticks his foot in the ground, is willing to get upfield, and is, like I said, one of probably the best outside zone runner in this draft class. The Rams won more outside zone than any other team in the NFL. So it's a perfect fit from that perspective. A little more of a speed, has a little more top-end speed, a little more of a home run threat than Todd Gurley. And Todd Gurley with his knee issues, we don't know what his future holds here.
8.9 yards per carry, 6.2 yards after contact per carry last year, 57 forced missed tackles. Just going to say, we talk about the running back being dependent on scheme. If that's the case, get a guy that has some speed, to maybe create some big plays. So I really like that. And then Bobby Evans, we keep talking about developmental tackles in that third round range. Perfect fit right there. The 34th pick of the third round, 97 overall. And it's what the Rams need as far as, getting ready for when Andrew Whitworth is going to be done.
Yeah, Bobby Evans, if he would have stayed at the right tackle position where he played back in 2017, where he graded out much better, I think he would have been drafted higher because his hands were just he was much more comfortable there on the right side. Flips over to the left side in 2018, and his hands just were not the same. He was not getting the same play out of it. His sets did not look comfortable in it, and it's not easy transitioning from right side to left side. We've seen guys even like Tyron Smith struggle with that transition for a whole season. He did it, and he was susceptible. The inside move would just open the door too many times. But what we saw back in 2017, I think, was more than warrants the third-round selection here, and he has a lot of promise from that tape we saw back then.
Like where Evans went, the other interesting tackle, David Edwards from Wisconsin. We talk about scheme fits. Don't know if he's the best scheme fit for the outside zone that the Rams like to run. He's not exactly the quickest off the ball, especially on the backside.
He's limited athletically, but then so again, Rob Havenstein, their right tackle that's starting for them right now. So I think the fifth round's about the good value for where he is, and it's just limited athletically, but not strong either. So any team that runs a gap stuff, he just may never be a great run blocker, but he's fluid in his pass sets. You hope that you can harness some of another guy, what we saw back in 2017, because 2018 just got manhandled by power far too often, but was better against that back a couple years ago.
The one other guy I need to mention, I think day 3 is where you find role players. Greg Gaines, nose tackle from Washington, 3 straight years of top-notch run defense grades, 90, 88, 92.9. you can at least get him down there as the early down run stopper type, and I think that's a good spot to draft those types of guys.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of block eaters in that defense. They have a lot of guys who want to get upfield. No one to really just set the tone in the middle of that defense. Greg Gaines is that guy. And in the 4th round, like you said, you're not going to get immediate starters at a lot of different positions. So get a guy you know has a translatable skill, and for Greg Gaines, it will be holding the point of attack against the run. I have faith that he can do that in the NFL.
Very nice draft with the Rams trading down, adding some draft capital, adding players at positions of need, and those role players like Greg Gaines. For the full breakdown on the Rams draft, be sure to get to ProFootballFocus.com.